Welcome back from the break. We are still hanging out with Crumbz, but now it's time to get a little more personal, stop talking about all the news going on and get to know Crumbz a little bit. So tell me, how'd you get into gaming and specifically League of Legends?
So my parents were quite into gaming, so I started playing a little bit as a kid.
But your parents were into gaming?
Yeah, my dad.
I feel like that's never how this story starts. It's like
it's like my parents did not like gaming, and I had to do it secretly.
And I rebelled against them.
Yeah,
they were like, "Hey, try this game out."
I mean, that happened as well because I was very much into it. But essentially, they had a business in Venezuela where they taught people how to use a computer, taught schools, people came in, because that was like 1990s, 2000, where people were actually like, "How do you use this?" And a lot of times after school, after sailing, I'd go there and just play on the computer a lot. But my competitive drive was in sailing. The only other competitive thing I did was play RuneScape and PK, which I was unbelievably good at it, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that because I'm really in tune with RuneScape. This is basically a RuneScape show, actually.
The guys that know about it, they'll be happy. Yeah, but after that, I went to Canada and I started sailing there, but it just wasn't the same.
So wait, you were a competitive sailor. Sorry. Yeah. Like, can you... I mean, I know people like race or whatever, but this is something very unusual, I think, in esports. You're the first person I've ever met in esports that's a competitive sailor.
Yeah, so basically it wasn't a big boat. It was a small boat, almost like 6 feet long. It's called an Optimist, and I used to sail that for many years. I won national competitions, went to Worlds there, went to...
Really?
Yeah.
Are you beating other people who you're like racing them?
So basically in sailing, it's the first one to do laps. Right?
Okay.
It's relative to your adversaries. It's not about time. So yeah, you are beating people all the time.
So then you went from being outdoors on the ocean,
I was
sailing.
extremely outdoors. And then, I mean, you can't do sailing in Canada because in Venezuela, I just had like a life vest and shorts, yeah. But in Canada, I needed to have I needed to wear socks on my boots.
You gotta go ice fishing. You gotta like
everything.
Dig yourself out so you can actually go.
It was too much.
Yeah.
So I quit that, and then I joined what was a charity gaming after school where you could play Dota there. And you had to give like $1 to play after school, and immediately I got hooked. I was like, okay, something I can compete in. Got my ass whooped a bunch, but then I took that game, I downloaded it onto a USB, put it in my home computer, and I didn't even have internet, so I just played against bots all the time with my brother. We like bought a big cord and just connected it.
You had a USB back then?
Yeah.
Back then you had to like burn everything to DVDs and CDs.
Dude,
and
this
stuff.
was like 2006.
Oh, okay. This was quite the jump for me
Yeah.
from like your parents in the 90s teaching people how computers work to...
No, we're already in Canada. We're already doing that.
I didn't quite realize that.
Try to keep up, Mark.
Yeah, geez. I'm sorry.
Something about boats. Where would we be without you?
Come on, exactly.
Say it. So after that, after playing Dota, then I finally got internet, and I told my friend, hey, let's continue playing Dota. And he said, no, new game now, it's League of Legends. So I was like, screw it, League of Legends. And I just played a lot, and then I mean a heaping helping of League of Legends. I don't think anybody actually played more than me in season 1. I think I was looking at the ranking. Second most games played was like 1,800. Mine were like 2,700.
Jeez.
That's just ranked. That's excluding normals, no boost, no nothing. And after that, I just wanted to compete, so I would skip out on pretty much anything in my life just to play League. And eventually I got pro, and here I am.
So you got pro, basically how a lot of other people did, being high on the ladder and getting scouted.
Yes.
Back in the day, it was just like teams of players getting together, being like, "Hey, you're cool. Let's run it."
Yeah, exactly. Because there was a tournament happening in IPL 3 where Epic Gamer, one of the older teams at the time, had a player, Sauce, who wasn't 18, and they needed somebody to be 18 that could compete. Lucky me, I was an 18-year-old player in the ladder, the highest-ranked 18-year-old player that could participate in the tournament. They invited me, and then immediately I went to Curse, to Dignitas, to Renegades, to Apex, to now.
What'd you play when you subbed in for this tournament? Because you were a top laner for a little bit as well. Were you mid or top?
So I played, in this tournament, I played mid. My first pro match ever was playing a Nivea mid against Reginald's Gragas.
How'd that go for you?
I did really well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I did super. He was really good at Gragas, but I held my own very well. I was rocking it in that tournament. We got second, unfortunately, but it was a fun time because I started off playing top and mid. Then I hated jungle, actually, when I first started.
Okay.
I think it was Gragas, an old school player that I was like, you know what, if Gragas can do it, I sure as hell can. So that's how I got it.
Do you miss that part of tournaments a little bit? Because now everything's so structured. It's like very professional and it's riot run. Do you miss that kind of more open, like, hey, let's grab this guy and see how we do?
Yeah,
and have
of course.
Some fun?
It's free form. It's so ghetto. It's just you never know what to expect out
I
of these
think we prefer
tournaments.
grassroots, by the way, not ghetto.
Ghetto might have a little bit more of a negative connotation.
Grassroots.
Yeah.
No, that's not negative.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, grassroots is the word
You're
to
saying
use.
ghetto.
I've never heard that word grassroots.
Ghetto
Really?
is like you're in the basement and it's like grungy, and grassroots is like positive.
Yeah,
and
it's like the
everything's
community
like,
all
yeah.
coming together.
This word is too white for me. Here we
Okay,
go.
all right, whatever.
Okay.
We'll move on.
Yeah, so in the second tournament I went to, IM Hanover, we also did the same thing because I believe our mid laner, our top, he actually missed his flight. So we needed a player and we didn't have subs, so we just asked around in the tournament, hey, who's the highest ranked top laner that can play for us? And we got a random guy that was like an Aurelia main, and he beat Rain Man and we beat TSF in the tournament.
God.
It was so good.
Yeah, upsets back then were crazy. They happened pretty much all the time.
Yeah, I mean, everyone lost to everyone, which is fun.
Yeah. And so since then, you've obviously transitioned more to be a personality and caster. Was this something that was very natural and easy for you? Because you did a lot of it while you were still a player. Was this something you were always looking to like transition to what you wanted to, or was it just something fun to do and you kind of grew into it?
It was both, because I remember I wanted to do a lot of interviews, and I know that you helped out with that as well in just getting noticed out there, and I always try to have as much practice as possible because I felt like public speaking is just a skill that I should have, whether it's something that I do as a profession or not. And I try to do it as much as possible, and eventually I just figured that it was so enjoyable that I wanted to do it more and more and more. And when the opportunity came around that I was fully capable of making an easy transition from player, coach, or whatever to actually doing broadcast, I felt like all the work that I had done beforehand was paying dividends, because looking back on some of the initial interviews or segments, it's painful. It is so bad.
Yeah, it's, oh God, the early days, you saw Travis on stage, like
Oh.
hosting. Oh, it was so brutal.
Well, the beard now is just
Yeah.
pretty sick.
He's got a little bit more style to him. He's got the old man look.
And that's
The-
it for
the
me on the
salty
show, guys.
sailor,
I
yeah.
actually have to head out.
Speaking of being on camera and being a lot better now, we actually pulled a couple of clips of yours
Oh, no.
that we want to take a look at. Let's look at the
What?
first one.
They look so
prank.
much more crisp even last week than what that game gave advantage of.
Well, I have a metaphorical representation of what happened that game. We have right here.
No, I didn't make that.
What was that? Well, they got blown out of the water. They got blown out of the water.
It's my favorite.
You should have
Just
gotten down
explain
and
it.
Yeah, everyone, that's silence, and everyone's just sitting there like, what was that,
We don't
Crumbz?
get it.
Yeah, no one got it. I can't believe that you had that boat prepared. Like, how did you come up with that?
I think we were coming up with ideas of just goofs and gaffs to do on the segment, and we just found, like, you know what? Why not just put him as a ship getting blown out of the water? And we're like, yeah.
Wait, so
yeah,
they
we
were
can
supposed to
do
be
it.
more prepared for it.
What do you mean?
Because like everyone sat there like, oh, we don't get this, but
Yeah, no, everyone knew this was coming. I was like, what do you mean you guys don't get this?
Damn, they didn't help you out at all.
Yeah.
They left you after the try.
I felt like I did my dues in explaining it.
Yeah, I think you did too. Let's take a look at another clip. This one is more about what you say than what you do.
Oh, Jesus.
Cloud9 is the team to go for. On top of the fact that Sneaky has been performing so well, I think they're going to really put up the fight to Kid and Kitties. And to be honest, if you're on the IG side and you tell me, oh, but what about CZ Tai and the Balls matchup? Isn't that a worrying trend? Isn't CZ Tai just going to stomp all over Balls? Well, to that I tell you, aren't Balls the weakest region in all of us? You know, Cloud9 usually, from the first game, we learned that they know how to.
I like you could hear the crew
Yeah,
laughing.
you can hear everyone.
Did
having
is this
a
another thing that was like prepared beforehand?
No, so actually, I didn't have desk for that day or for like a couple of days, and I was like, you know what, I just want to do something. Can you give me some time? And I wasn't prepared because that's like the sweater I wear. I just had a T-shirt underneath, and like, look, we'll give you a Tell Us Straight segment. I was like, trust me, it'll be funny. Don't worry about it. And I was just thinking of a monologue of something that would be captivating to say. Because a lot of the times I'll just look at the names or items, objects, or anything like, what kind of joke can come out of this?
Yeah, it's definitely something I like working with you about because I'm not like the kind of guy who's like when I see something I want to crack a joke about it, but when we're on the desk together, you're always looking for like stupid things that you can do.
That's me right there.
Yeah, speaking of our time together on the desk, actually, that is the last clip that we're going to roll for you.
thought you were gonna speaking of stupid things.
And the phoenix rises from the ashes.
I can explain myself.
There it is. No, a great first victory for
I can
for
explain
Phoenix
myself.
won here on the split. Taking
Okay,
down
so yeah, what
Apex
I mean,
in
I
a
obviously
2-1
Mark knows what
series.
happened here, but
Great
I'm
to see
curious.
them
Okay,
grab that
so
victory. Great to hear from
Obviously, we wanted to do the Phoenix Rising thing, but for the high five, I didn't know that we were doing high five, and his hand was already up. So I was like, oh, I guess you guys are doing high five. So I high fived him, and I turned to you, and your high five
just
wasn't
left
there,
me
and
out
I was
there.
like, oh, I guess they're not high fiving then anymore.
Yeah, I
'Cause
needed
then-
a second to get it up.
It went like that. I was like,
Can I click my high five now? Can I get
Yeah.
it?
Oh, nice. There
Let's
we go.
go. Travis, you
It
want
want
one?
looks like it was
one?
painful.
You
I
want
don't
one?
want that.
No,
That
come
looks
on,
like it
come
was.
on.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
see,
fine.
he toned it down for you. You
Yeah,
got the
thank
soft
you.
hands, soft interviewer hands.
Supple.
Yeah,
Can't
exactly.
carry a
I need these for
camera.
the microphone. It's very.
Doesn't have any
Is,
calluses
it,
from
is that
gaming.
the only thing that's
Let's move on.
needed?
All right, we're gonna step away from that topic. You're always known as the prophet, of course. That being one of your most famous little things that you did. And so we're gonna have to ask you for some predictions heading forward into the next year. So my first question is, will plants last more than one season in the jungle, or are they kind of a gimmick?
Will they last more than one season? I think
Full
that-
year season.
I
not-
think they will, honestly, because they're not really impacting the game that much, and it's another little extra mechanic to the game that people are kind of having fun with it, especially with the blasting one, right? That's pretty exciting, and it adds just another strange level of depth. Do I think it'll last more than one? Not if they don't have insane tweaks.
Are you having fun with them?
Am I having fun with the plant?
Yeah.
Dude, I can't even play League of Legends. I have to go to
Have you not heard this story?
I have to go to PC bongs, right, wherever to play League because I'm sitting here on a laptop. That's all I have. I'm not in the gaming house anymore, right? I don't have a PC set, so I just have to play from there. And League literally crashes my PC every single time. So that's a shout out to any sponsors that are willing to listen to me say how great their computers are.
Why don't you just send your specs to Riot and be like, hey, what's happening here? Like, just bring it in one day to the studio. They got tech guys there. They can help.
I think he's saying his computer's just not good enough.
Yeah.
It's completely
Yeah.
just that bad.
Well, I mean, I can play. Yeah, I can't run all the games that I'd like to play. Let's
Okay.
leave it at that.
Yeah,
I
so-
wanted to play Dead Space. I couldn't play Dead Space. I was like,
All right, so you got to get hooked up somehow.
somebody, please.
Moving on to the next prediction, which, if any, of the reworked assassins do you think will be played in competitive, or will they all get nerfed into the ground?
So I think they all will be played in competitive because if we look at the last rework, which was a major rework, it was every single pick was super broken, right?
Yeah.
People say Vel'Koz wasn't that broken. He's just hard and difficult to fit in, but he's definitely quite powerful. I feel the same for the assassin one. It'll just be a matter of time where the meta makes sense for people to actually play these guys. But overall, it's just a general idea of when these champions get reworked, you want to have them come up in a very strong position so that they get played, so that people try them out and say, oh, maybe this needs to be toned down because if you make it, it's trash. Nobody plays it, it'll get forgotten.
Okay. Now, this next one, totally unfair, but I'm still going to need an answer. Without knowing anything about any of the rosters,
Okay.
who in NA is going to take first place?
Quinn and Ace taking first place. Ah, man.
I mean, we're not expecting much.
Yeah, I-
from you. You can say anything. You're not like, don't need like
Jeez,
crunch
right now.
numbers.
Let's say, I think CLG was going to do well.
All right,
I think
CLG
is
for
gonna do
first
well.
place. Spring or summer?
Let's do spring. I mean,
Okay.
are we doing the whole year? That's too
Yeah,
long.
of course. It's
What,
like I said, it's
third-
unfair.
Hey, if relegation is there, we don't even know the teams.
Oh, that's true. How can you predict?
Yeah.
All right. And then is there anything else you want to say? Like anything you want to predict before we start
Oh,
closing out?
Anything that I want
Oh,
to
yeah,
predict
you have.
for
Is there anything
fun?
that like the gods have given to you to
No,
share with the
man.
people?
I mean, all that stuff is too introspective and stuff that is. Yeah.
He knows a lot of things that are happening 3,000 years from now, but he doesn't really want to share those.
I
He's-
mean, if you
Yeah.
want to talk about philosophy and that kind of stuff.
Nope.
Yeah,
I think we're going to pass
that's
on that.
what
This
I
is
thought.
mostly a League of
Yeah.
Legends show. And with that, I think it's about time that we close out. It's been great having you here. I hope you had a lot of fun. I know I did. The Tell Share segment was great.
Yes,
Yeah, you enjoyed it?
I did. I had a lot of fun.
Travis, you were...
Triangles are my favorite shape.
It was okay. I liked the Telestrator segment. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
The Anivia part, I didn't expect that. That was a
cold
surprise to
front?
me.
So you're
That's why
watching.
he's so fun to
So
have
you're
on the
more
desk.
of watching and not doing.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
my role in the show is I just sort of sit here and look pretty, and then let Mark do all the work.
Can you rate him on that?
Get him out of
Let's
here.
move on.
That's going to do it for us here at Late Night League. Remember to watch every day, or every
Every
Tuesday.
day.
Not every day would be horrible.
They should shoot it every day.
Every day, every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific, for more League of Legends coverage. Stick around for Tilted coming next. That's going to do it for all of us here at Late Night League. Have a good afternoon.
The year was 1870. The place? Seattle. A young Michael Martin works on the streets just like everyone else does in Seattle, as a street fighter. One day he was approached by a man named Benjamin Franklin, who claimed to have invented something he called the Fireball Gin. He claimed it could throw fireballs faster than any street fighter known to man. This man's invention would put all of the workers out of business. Christmas was obviously ruined. What did Michael Martin do? You know damn well what he did. He challenged Benjamin Franklin to a fireball off. The battle lasted 27 years. Michael threw over 13 billion fireballs, but in the end, the Fireball Gin was defeated. Everyone cheered Michael Martin's name. And that's why everyone in the FGC loves Michael Martin. This story has been confirmed true by Travis Gafford's toupee. I'm Buddy Hutton, and this has been a true esports story.